So let's just take this moment and allow them to introduce themselves. Panelists, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself by your name and what major you had and when you graduated, and then just in 30 to 60 seconds, tell us what you are doing now, what your current position is. And Shannon, I see you, so you want to go first? You're on.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Is everyone able to hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. It's good to see everyone digitally. My name is Shannon Hill. I studied public relations at the School of Journalism and Communication. I graduated in December of 2019. And I currently work at Advent Health. We are a Florida-based healthcare system, and I work as a marketing and strategy resident as a part of our leadership development business residency.
Wonderful. Cameron Reel, you're a familiar face.
Hey, can you hear me? Am I here?
Yep.
All right. Hey guys, I'm Cameron. I just recently graduated like 20 days ago, December 2021. With mass communications with an emphasis in media production. I just started a new job on Monday, working at Georgia Cumberland Conference, working as part of their communications team. My official title is the communications intern, but that's not quite what I do. I'm basically just kind of a catch-all for the communications jobs, updating website, updating photos, with any AV needs that the conference has, but they kind of have a 3-person team. So I'm just kind of one of the legs of that team. So that's what I do.
Wonderful. Thank you, Cameron. And Joseph, tell us about yourself.
Well, Cameron kind of said it all. I don't really have to say anything because I basically do the same thing. No, but I graduated the same as Cameron, mass communications, but my emphasis was in photography. And also I work for a conference. I work for the South Central Conference and kind of doing the same things like Cameron said, a lot of website updating, social media management, a little bit of here and there, just a little bit of everything that I do. And my title is communication intern as well.
Okay. All right. Well, our question for today is this: knowing what you know now, having graduated, been here maybe all 4 years, and then moved out into the job market, what advice would you have for these undergraduates? What would you advise them to do in college now, based on what you know? And who wants to take that on first? Any first takers? Cameron, you're on.
Yeah. I am the least experienced in the job field, so I'll take this question first so that everybody else can have a better answer than me. But I would say the biggest thing, don't focus so much on what you do and what you know, and focus more on who you know, the networking and whatnot. That's really what's going to help you get a job. That's really what's going to help you make those connections, not just in your community, but in other communities as well. Because even with this job that I'm doing now, there's a lot of things I don't know how to do. And I know that throughout this first month, this first quarter, semester, whatever, I'm going to learn how to do those things. I'm going to get better at those things. Whereas the people that I know are really what helped me get the connections and get the job and kind of meet new people and whatnot.
So not so much on what you know, but who you know. And I see a new face on the screen. Katie, introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing now and when you graduated and with what major. You're maybe muted. Check your microphone.
Hello.
Yeah, we got it. Sounds good.
Awesome. So I graduated officially in March. I've been in Telemundo Atlanta for 7 months now. And I'm currently a production assistant, but I wear many hats. I'm also an editor and on-air talent. So I've been definitely getting out of my comfort zone. And yeah, I do a little bit of everything here in the station.
Great. Well, the question, Katie, to all of our panelists is, knowing what you know now, what advice would you have for our undergraduates to make the most of their college years, especially as they prepare for a career afterwards? And with that, Shannon, you want to take this?
I would love to kind of follow up with what Cameron had just mentioned. So the first thing that I would say is network like your life depends on it. Networking is so important. And I know if you're anything like me, when I was a freshman, I would sit in class and I would hear professors say the word network. And I'm thinking, what do you mean by that? Like, what does that actually mean? And really like make friends with professionals that are in your field, make friends with your classmates, make friends is really what I would describe it as in the most basic terminology. And the thing is that it's so important because really, truly in the jobs that you find, you are talented and you have everything that you need to succeed in those jobs. However, your relationships that you build with people in these fields, no matter if you want to go into broadcasting or if you want to go into public relations, it's really important that you find people that are currently working in the field and are knowledgeable about what you want to do. And those relationships are important as you're looking for a job. And because if they know you, then they can vouch for you. They might know that you're reliable. They know that you're going to show up for them when they really need something done. So I think that that's a big thing. And the thing is that it's never too early to start is the other thing that I would want to tell you is that right now, like, don't think that, oh, just because if I'm a freshman and I just started a semester ago, or this is my first semester, start right now. Like literally start today. Start making friends, start forming connections with people on LinkedIn, ask professionals that are where you want to be, ask them out for coffee, or in this environment, digital coffee. I want to encourage you. I cannot stress that enough because that is really going to set you apart.
Wonderful. Make friends with your professors. That absolutely. I can vouch for that. By the way, the Mo Puddle Cam is on our students here for a reason. At any time, and Noah's waving back there. Anytime someone is thinking of a question, just put up a hand, and we want this to be interactive. So feel free to jump in with a question to any one of our panelists. Mrs. Ball, that includes you too, since we see you on screen, if you have a question. Joseph, you want to maybe add to this discussion about maybe something that hasn't already been mentioned?
Yeah, sure, of course. I would say get involved. That's one thing that I feel like I did at Southern, but I wish I had done even more. I would definitely say to everyone, get involved in something that's outside, maybe not necessarily it has to do with your major, but just get involved, period, because that develop skills that you can use in the future. So I know just about any job that you go to, they're going to want someone with some leadership skills and some management skills. And if you can just get a job, maybe you're just working at the CAF, but maybe you're managing a couple of other people under you. That just shows that you have the ability to have management skills. If you gain leadership skills in any job that you can find around campus, or if you're doing something off campus, things of that sort, I would definitely say get involved so it can help you build those leadership and managerial skills, because every job wants to see someone that has those skills on their resume. So that'd be great as well.
I know Joseph got involved by being one of our TV studio lab assistants and was working on special projects for the department, as well as working one-on-one, sharing his skills with undergrads. Katie, what can you add to this discussion? Oh, you're still muted there.
Oh, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say set up informational interviews. That's something that really, really worked for me on my senior year. I wish I would have done that before. Just reach out to people and, hi, I would like to learn more about your career path. Did you always see yourself doing this? Just be someone. I was never expecting anything from any of those conversations. I was just very thankful that they would take the time to talk to me. But it worked out for me. I ended up getting a job through an informational interview without expecting anything. And yeah, I learned so much from those conversations that I'm very thankful for. So I would do that. Don't be afraid to get a no, because that was something I struggled with my sophomore year. I didn't want to bother people. It's like, oh, but I want to be very mindful of their time. But people they like talking about themselves. And if they see your, like, people can tell your intention. They can tell your intentions too. So it's like, just don't expect anything, going with an open mind, just wanting to learn from them. And I think even if nothing happens right now, in the future, you might end up working together or something like that. Yeah.
Hey, Katie, I love that. Can you just explain a little bit more, especially to our freshmen and sophomores, what is an informational interview? What is that?
Well, for me, this is basically, I'm interviewing them. I do research about them. I come up with different questions that I want to know, and about the industry they work in or about their position. And that's actually something that I still do to this day. I feel like you should always have a student mentality, no matter how old you are. So right now, like after work or before work, I'm still reaching out to different professionals, not expecting anything, just wanting to learn about them and their career path. So yeah, just you take over and you ask the questions.
Love it, love it. Hey, we have a new face on our panel. Michaela, thanks for joining us.
Sorry,
Oh, that's okay.
Something came up.
So just introduce yourself. First, tell us a little bit about, well, when you graduated, your major, and what you've been doing and your plans.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Michaela. I graduated class of COVID 2020 with Joseph. My major was BS in public relations. I previously just finished a contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, working with the commercial and group brand management team. And I'm currently now looking for a job, so I can speak to the job search both before, during the pandemic, and kind of like now in this. We're still in the pandemic, but it's a little different from previously. Sorry, what was the other question?
Yeah, well, let me let you ask our first question was basically, what advice would you offer now to these students, knowing what you know as a graduate, knowing what you know now, what would you wish you had known back then when you were a freshman?
Okay. Agreeing with Katie, networking. Everybody can be kind of like a network, a little dot that connects you to different pieces. Use your professors and what they have, especially for my job with Blue Cross Blue Shield. I don't know if you guys remember Professor Natalia. She hasn't been gone that long, but Professor Natalia texted me and she was like, "Are you still in the area?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "I'm sending you a job." I said, "Okay." That's all she wrote. Like, they knew the person that she was connecting me with went to Southern. The person that became my boss loves Southern interns. You know what I mean? And when my contract was ending and I was moving on and I was looking for jobs, they were helping me find other places to interview with. So use your network, use the people within your space, use your professors, use like people that have graduated that you knew that are graduated, even if they're a year above you. My other thing is do good work. Treat your classes like it's a job. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I heard several amens here.
It's true. And that's another thing Professor Ball and Professor Natalia's classes, and even Professor Roof's class, really taught me. Treat it like it's a job. You gotta work really hard when you get onto the world. Just because even if you're doing it for a grade, treat it like, at the end of the day, I have to show this to a client, and would I be proud of it if I showed it to a client? Right. And if the answer is no, you need to try harder. Sorry. Those are my two that I tried to keep with me from my experience at Southern and into my life. Network and do good work.
Okay, panelists, you've been listening to each other. Anything to add to what we've already heard? And guys, what about questions? Yes, I see a hand out here. Speak up.
What are some skills like you learned in undergrad or you wish you learned before you went?
skills that you learned in your undergrad that you really needed, where you discovered you needed once you graduated, or you wish you had learned?
Since I'm already unmuted, I don't know if it's a skill necessarily, if it's just something that you learn over time. Confidence. I find that with myself, especially in the job search, I want to underestimate myself and my skills, and I don't necessarily trust that I know what I'm doing. And working my first big job out of college, towards the end, I really started, once my boss started giving me like once she would start going on PTO for a whole week and I was managing most of the stuff, it helped me learn that I know what I'm doing. I actually do know what I'm doing. And so I think if I would have trusted myself more and trusted what my grades were showing me, what my professors were saying to me versus how I guess I was feeling on the inside, I probably would have been thriving a lot quicker. So trust yourself, you know what you're doing.
Okay. What about that other panelist?
I would say also another skill is time management. I know that everybody in this room and everybody on this panel, we have lots of things in our tool belt that we can do, which means that even if you get a job that's just photography or a job that's just PR stuff, you're going to be doing more than just that because there's just lots of elements to that. So being able to manage those things, and it comes in really handy when you're in school too, and you're taking, 5, 6, 7 different classes and kind of doing all that. Just learning how to manage all that time is really, really good.
Something else that I would also say, which I know we're all in communication, and so you are all taking writing classes, you're taking writing for the media, you're taking magazine and feature writing, you're taking news reporting, you're taking all of these classes. And I would really just encourage you to do as much writing outside of those classes as possible, whether that is freelancing for someone or working on the Southern accent. I cannot encourage you enough to do that. Please work on the Southern accent. It is so important to expand those writing skills and to be able to have more to show for yourself outside of, I did this for a class, maybe I wrote for the school newspaper, I was a writer, I was an intern and I did this, or I worked for marketing and university relations. Produce work that you're proud of, that you can be proud of, that you can show to a potential employer, that you can show to someone and say, I did this. And on top of all the other things that I was working on in college, I did this. And so I really just think that having those writing skills outside of the classes you're currently doing and being able to work on things for people that help you exercise your writing abilities, even if you happen to be doing it for free, it's so important to be able to do that and to be able to have that to show for yourself. Invest now, invest in that time that you'll spend now, because you'll thank yourself later.
Okay. And if any of you other panelists have a skill to add to that, we welcome it. Or is there another question?
I would say just being very open-minded and adaptable, flexible. Because I've always been very, structure. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm going to do. And this is what, just a little list. And I've learned that, things don't work that way. And it was hard to actually learn that in college in some of my classes. But I'm so, so, so thankful for that. Because now working at a news station, you never know what can happen. We can have the rundown, have everything prepared, and then, breaking news, or hey, actually this just happened, we need to add this story. So at first it was very hard for me personally, just because, like I said, I've always been about structure. But yeah, just work on that and be open-minded about where you might end up. I always said I would never be in front of the camera, and I'm doing that right now. So yeah.
Great, wonderful. Questions? Looking for hands. Yes, Adam.
It's a question for all of them, but it's specifically for Joseph because
Okay, question for Joseph.
how did you deal with being nervous about potentially not being able to find a talked about it in Professor Ross's class today. I switched from business admin to mass market. I told my mom that she wasn't thrilled.
Yeah.
Like for the most, like it's not. It would be easier to get a job with business admin. And I was telling my peers today that I would rather do something that I like to do. And it's harder to get by as opposed to like I'm performing tasks that makes pay a little bit higher.
Right.
So like how do you deal with this feeling?
Am I in the right place?
Yeah, exactly.
Joseph, did you hear all of that?
I heard pieces of that. If you
Okay,
could repeat
so-
some of it for me.
Yeah, Adam's asking, he just recently changed his major from business to mass comm, right? And there's been some tension and conflict within his family about that. And even he's asking, how do you know as a student that you're in the right place, the right major?
Okay. The first thing I would say is God. Like without God, like all things are impossible and nothing is going to prosper without him. And I'm always looking towards him for every answer in my life. So I would say, first of all, pray and ask God, is this where you want me to be in my life? Like, is this where you see me going for the next few years? And it could change down the line. You may start here and you may even graduate with this and may not use it after you graduate. But if God wants you to go through this program, then he will let it be known. Second, I would say to make sure that it's something that you're passionate about. Like if you wake up and you're thinking about mass comm, or you go to sleep thinking about mass comm, that may sound really like geeky or whatever, but that's how it is for me with like photography. I love photography, and what really got me into it was a mission trip that I went on, and I saw there was a group of was a media team there, and I was like, I want to do that. And I saw them, they were ministering as well as doing photography and doing video and things of that sort at that ministry. And yes, I got some flack from some of my friends. Thank God that I had very supportive parents that were supportive of my degree that I chose. But I did have some friends that questioned me and saying, what are you going to do with that? And I know it's kind of scary when you kind of pick that degree, because people think, oh, all you do is take pictures. I can do that with my phone. I was like, yeah, but you can't do it like me, So you have to have confidence. You can't let anyone tear you down just because, oh, you said you want to choose that, because that's, at the end of the day, that's your life and that's what you chose. And if you have confidence in what you do, you can show people the work that you do, and you're like, hey, this don't look like your iPhone picture, does it?
Yeah. Right. Hey, panelists, anything else to add to that?
I can kind of speak to that too. I changed my major when I first came in. I didn't change my major, more that I added a lot of things and took away a lot of things. Katie understands. I started as public relations, graphic design, and Professor Ball knows I was emailing her before I even got here. Before I even got to Southern. I can't draw. I don't. She was like, "It's okay, it's fine," and I think it goes a lot to what Joseph was saying about being confident, but also trusting. Again, going back, trusting what you're doing. You know what I mean? I'm going through these classes and I'm like, I'm not getting it. And it was to this point where I was just like, I really called my parents, and they were like, well, what are you going to do? You can't just do that. You need to make yourself more marketable, buzzword marketable. And I'm like, but I'm suffering. You know what I mean? Why would I put myself through that if I'm suffering? Sometimes you have to trust that you know what you're doing for yourself. Because like Joseph said, they're not doing this, you're doing this. You know what I mean? I know it can kind of be touchy with parents, because they might be paying for it, or they're like, I wanted to study music. My dad said, I'm not paying for music. And I said, okay, well, so it can be touchy, especially with the parents, but you got to just trust that what you're doing.
Questions? Oh, yes, someone else to add. Katie.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I think I kind of went through the same thing Michaela did. I started off as a public relations and graphic design major, and it was actually after a trip to Colorado with SJC that I decided to change my major. We went to Comcast and we went to the Telemundo station, and just being there, I remember getting chills and being like, I want to be there. I want to work behind the scenes in production. And I was just so scared to tell my parents. I felt bad. I was like, oh, I feel like they're going to judge me if I switch my major. I'm already in. And at first, yeah, it was really hard with my dad at least. But after a while, they saw how much I loved what I was studying and how excited I would get about a project, about a video I was editing. And with time, like they just, they're really happy for me and they're super supportive about everything I do now. But yeah, like if you enjoy the classes that you're taking, that's a big sign, I think.
It's funny. Me and Katie were in the same, I think it was drawing class, and Katie came up to me and she said, I dropped graphic design. I said, you dropped graphic design? Bet. And I went and changed my major that day.
Questions? Yes, over here. Speak up.
My question for you guys is, are you currently working your dream job? And if not, what is your dream job?
Oh, a question. Are you working your dream job? Or if not, what is your dream job? Who wants to
Can
go
I go
first?
Unhappily unemployed. No, I'm definitely unemployed right now. I'm looking. And I came on this call and I was like, I want to be positive. I want to give them hope, but I got to be real. It sucks. My dream job, I've been really thinking about this. I just want to live in New York. I really want to work in a agency and be a coordinator where I can work with brands that I love. I think that's the main thing. I just want to work with brands and tell stories of brands that I love. Keyword love, you know what I mean? Because when you love something, it's not work, it's not a job, it's a passion. One of the reasons why I fell in love with PR was because of that storytelling element, being able to tell a brand story, tell why someone is doing something. And yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to do something that's more interdisciplinary. So it's not just writing, but it's not just video editing. It's not just audio. And I think that I really showed that while I was at Southern, where I wasn't just taking the writing classes. I was taking roofs, video classes. I was taking photography classes. I was taking these social media strategies. I tried to diversify it as much because I don't want to be one note. And I don't want that to be one note in my future job. So do I have a company that I want to work at? Not really, but I just know I want to work in New York. I want it to be a big agency. I want an office with 2 windows and 2 Mac computers, and I want to do something I love.
Wonderful. Yeah, give her a hand. All right. Just got a couple more minutes, guys, but hey, dream jobs, let's hear them.
So I would say that I think that you absolutely should enjoy what you're doing. Absolutely, you should enjoy it. I would say that I enjoy what I'm doing most days. It's work. At the end of the day, what you're doing, it is work. And so there's going to be some aspects of your job that you are going to love. And there's going to be some aspects of your job that you're not going to love as much. That's just the truth. So with that being said, at the moment, I would not say that I am at my dream job, but I am in my dream industry. And I'm really passionate about healthcare. That's where I am. I'm at Advent Health, and it was such a road to get here. If you want to know about it, feel free to message me on LinkedIn or anything like that. But at first, as Michaela was saying, I was unemployed within the pandemic for a while. And so when I came here, though, I started working here, and I'm in a residency where we get to rotate to like different teams, and we get to work in different aspects of healthcare. And so I would say I'm in my dream industry. I'm not in my dream job yet. And what I've found is that there are definitely going to be some aspects of your job, like I said, that you are going to love. and aspects of your job that you are not going to like as much. And at the end of the day, that's also why we call it work. And so I think you should love it and you should be passionate about it. There should always be something that drives you back to why you're doing what you're doing. At the end of the day, there's just aspects you're going to love, aspects you're not going to love as much. And so just, I think that's something important to remember as you're seeking what you want to do with your career.
Okay, anybody else?
I guess I'll go next.
Okay.
As far as dream job, I would say no. But my dream job for me would be to be self-employed. And by saying that, I want to eventually in the future create my own agency. So maybe I can hire Michaela, you know. But I would, in the future, I would like to have my own agency, you know, and doing things about photography, video, and some writing as well. So if a client needed something written for their company, then they could come to me. If they needed some photography for their company or video and things of that sort, that's what my dream job would be. And along that line, I would say for everyone, no matter what your degree is and no matter what you want to do in life, your career doesn't end when you clock out. And I had to learn that when I got into the working field. Like, if you want to grow in life, if you want to succeed and get better in life and rank up, as people say, or if you want to branch out on your own, after you clock out, whether you get off work 5, 6 in the afternoon or whatever, that your career doesn't stop right there. Like, if you want to get better, you have to keep hustling. You have to keep pushing yourself. You have to, after you clock out, go on YouTube, look up some things, like research for yourself and get better. Because yes, we took these classes, but technology is always evolving and we have to stay up to date with the time. So you have to keep learning, get some books, look on YouTube, you know, do your research and keep going so that you can learn and grow in life.
Wonderful, great. Katie or Cameron? Still can't hear you, Katie.
Hello? Okay.
There you go.
I'm not at my dream job, but I'm in the process of getting there. I love what I'm doing right now. From the very beginning, since college, I knew the company I wanted to work for. And I had an idea of what I wanted to do. And I'm still figuring things out, figuring my next step. But like Michaela said, New York and Miami, those are the two places. I'm not moving from Atlanta if it's not New York or Miami. But yeah, I'm just working on that now. But I love it.
Cameron, you've got the last word.
Sure. Throughout my time at Southern, almost depending on whatever class I was taking, I would have a different dream job depending on that. You know, if I was taking digital storytelling, oh my goodness, my dream job is to be a video marketer or whatever. If I was taking photography, oh my goodness, my dream job is to be a darkroom assistant or whatever. I had all these different dream jobs. It wasn't until like my final year, semester-ish, that I realized that I don't really have a dream job. And so to answer your question, I'll never achieve that dream job status because I don't have it. But as long as I can go to work and kind of like Shannon said, I can go to work and love what I do and just enjoy it. Like, to me, that's the dream. Just to go to the job and be like, oh my goodness, this is great. This is amazing. This job title, this work specifically today might not be the dream, but knowing that I'm where I want to be, I'm where God wants me to be, that is just fulfilling to me.
Guys, this has been wonderful. Thank you. And they're clapping. Everyone gave you a warm round of applause. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day.